Now, the title might be a bit misleading, so I have to point out that when I'm talking about 3D animation, I'm talking about it purely in anime. For those of you who don't know, there's a very common thing you'll hear fans of anime say, and that is, 3D animation is the reason God kicked us out of Eden. Okay, maybe I was paraphrasing there, but you get the idea. Anyway, I never actually had too much of a vocal opinion about it. I used to just believe that the 3D animation wasn't being used properly, and that the studios would usually pull it out when they needed to cut corners around animation costs. But then came along a magical experience that to this day I will never forget. Houseki no Kuni, Land of the Lustrous. You see, Houseki no Kuni was something of a hidden gem when it first came out. Not many people were watching it, but everyone who was knew that this wasn't just your run-of-the-mill anime. The fluid animation in each action, the proper use of the 3D models, and the general look of it wasn't all it had by its side either. The story, the characters, the soundtrack, which you're currently hearing right now, all kept up with the amazing art style. This wasn't just a one-trick pony art piece. It was a beautifully crafted tale that showed that both the mangaka, Ichikawa Haruko, and the animators at Orange were able to put their own artistic attributes together with seemingly no compromises. But this isn't about Houseki no Kuni. This is about 3D animation, something that I've grown to love quite a bit and expect more and more from as the years go by. It wasn't just Houseki no Kuni, but to be more recent, Beastars as well. You probably heard me drop that title in my Babylon video, and if not, don't worry, you didn't miss much. You see, because many people didn't watch Houseki no Kuni, when fans of the Beastars manga heard that the anime adaptation would be in the 3D animation style, they were quite hesitant to support it. Here's the gist of the issue. Many anime fans think of the Berserk 2016 anime when they think of 3D animation. And considering how popular it is to shit on the terrible art direction for that anime, it's no surprise people are weary of seeing 3D and anime in the same sentence. However, Orange has so far proven back to back that they don't only love using it, but have nearly perfected it and made it their own. And in order to properly explain what I mean by that, I need to first go over what exactly the problems of the art style are. So, the biggest problem that I see with 3D animation is with how the movement is handled. You'll notice with shows such as Ajin and the aforementioned Berserk 2016, the characters move quite sluggishly. In traditional 2D animation, fast motion is much easier to produce, because the faster you want a character to move, the less of their actions you draw. And then, by adding those very commonly used black lines in the direction of the action, you have seemingly quick movement. You sadly can't do that in 3D animation alone. Every action is motioned by the character model without any skips, so you end up having scenes that look odd even at the best of times. Apart from that, there's also the facial expressions. Anime is known for its over-the-top and unique faces that characters tend to make in either comedic or serious situations. The artists warp the faces of the individuals to extreme extents just to convey the intensity of the emotion they're feeling. But sadly in 3D animation, you're not really allowed to go to the same extent. Instead, most anime made using the 3D style are more closely grounded to realism because it's a limitation of the style itself. There are, of course, some other large and small issues, but those are two of the biggest and the specific ones I want to focus on for now. The reason for that is because I feel like it's important to address exactly how Studio Orange gets past those hurdles. Now, what Orange does isn't new to the anime industry, and it isn't groundbreaking, but it's their application that's impressive. There tends to be anime shows that cut costs by replacing certain aspects, such as large crowds and giant monsters with 3D models. Most fans hate these applications because it looks so jarring comparative to the 2D characters and backgrounds that are presented. Like I said before, this isn't new or groundbreaking, but rather the implementation is what I'm amazed at. Instead of making it seem obvious when the anime switches from one to the other, and in which parts, it makes sure to blend the 2D animation properly so that none of it looks out of place. This way, they're able to have movements that normally wouldn't be possible, and this is even more evident in their most recent project, Beastars. In the first few episodes alone, you're able to see how the inner voice of the main character, LAKEY, is blended with 2D animation, allowing the shadow to make facial expressions reminiscent of traditional anime. Through each episode of Beastars, I seemingly see new techniques on how to either use 3D animation or how to blend it with 2D. So, while many people still feel hesitant on supporting this type of art direction due to the bad reputation it's gotten over the years, I for one wholeheartedly support Orange for what they're trying to accomplish with their artistic choices. Since Beastars still hasn't finished the run of its first season, I won't make too many bold claims. But if you take the fact that Houseki no Kuni alone holds a place in my heart as my second favorite anime of all time, I think you can imagine that Beastars is gonna place pretty high. And if you're wondering what my favorite is, sadly I'm saving that for next week.